What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at this 2023 Nissan Maxima Platinum Edition full point of view style, see what this mid-size sedan is all about. Let's go ahead and pop the hood, see what's going to power this vehicle. So you get a 3.5 liter 6-cylinder engine. So really nice to see a V6. This has 300 horsepower and 261 pound-feet of torque. It is paired to a CVT transmission, and this particular model is front-wheel drive. This is about a $46,000 car. If we go ahead and take a look at the styling now, I really like the LED headlights. They have a very cool look to them, really nice the inside, and then the whole DRL. You get LED fog lights as well as parking sensors, and then the Platinum is going to give you all this chrome trim. You get quite a lot of openings in the front to allow cooling to that engine, and then really cool body lines throughout the hood, especially these ones in the center, kind of like a triangle shape, V shape, and some sharp ones above where the wheels are. So pretty good looking car overall. Moving to the side profile, you're going to see these multi-spoke design for the wheels. They have a nice two-tone color, and they are 19 inches in diameter. They have a pretty sharp body line around the front wheel, and then I really especially like the sharp line going all the way around, kind of dips under and fades away through the side profile. Pretty unique looking car. It does have some very cool lines. We get body colored on the mirrors, as well as an LED turn signal and side view camera, and then a lot of chrome trim for the lower portion of the windows as well as the door handles. And it's very cool how it kind of comes towards here, fades away. You get a gloss black trim piece, which will be black no matter what color the car is. So that's a pretty cool design element. More black around the windows, and then a dual pane panoramic sunroof. Side profile is pretty proportional, as you can see. Has really good lines all around. And as we make our way to the rear, you get LED taillights that match those headlights. We get our logos all throughout the rear end with more chrome trim as well as the backup camera. Then parking sensors all throughout the back. And then I especially like this quad-tipped exhaust design. Very aggressive. You get chrome for the rear diffuser. Just a really good looking car overall. I think it has some good body lines, pretty unique. It kind of stands out comparing it to the competition. And then in back, we have a trunk button on the back. You can open this up. The trunk is really big. The Maxima is a pretty roomy car. Has a very deep floor in it as well, so you can fit quite a lot of items. Then you can manually pull these levers that will pop the rear seats. I think that is the only way to open up the rear seats, but you do that and they'll unlock. We have our door panel, kind of basic as you would expect. However, we do get some nice contrast stitching. In back, we have more contrast stitching, the diamond pattern. You can seat 3 people, and you have that armrest in the center with cup holders and storage, and then it'll fold away. But from here, with the backs popped, you can just pull these forward and they'll fold down nearly flat. Of course, the seat is kind of in the way right now. But from this side, we can just pull this down. You can see how they're gonna fold, and it gives you a really good opening into the trunk. So very useful car, has a lot of space. And then if I go ahead and hop inside at 5'11", I am sitting back here pretty comfortably. And again, with the comfort access, the seat is back a little bit farther than it should be. However, I do have plenty of knee room as well as foot room. And my head, I have about 1 inch of headroom up here as well. You do have heated seats with air vents, and then you have your 2 plugs in the center with storage behind each of these seats. So then if we move on to the driver's seat, I really like the leather. This is actually a car with genuine leather. This is real material, really soft, very nice interior. So I especially like that attention to detail. Door panel is just like what we saw in rear. Very cool, kind of like a wood plastic material with some edges to it. And then if I hop inside, there is an adjustable leg rest, which is a good little touch. Firing it up. So that comfort access, the steering wheel goes down, the seat goes back forward. And then I like the dual pane. So if you just barely pull this back, both sunshades together are gonna fold up. Really cool design. And then if you pull it back a little bit harder, the entire glass panel up front is going to move back. And then if you just push the whole thing forward, it should do everything all at once. So the glass will go, and then both sunshades. If we take a look at the steering wheel, I like how it's a flat bottom. You get perforated leather, all the stitching, really nice to grab, really cool. You have all of your controls that you would expect. Cruise control is over on the right. And then looking at this center screen, you can scroll left and right in it and see all sorts of different information. So you can keep going. You can see some safety items, speed limit sign, a nice gauge right there. And then going into your settings, you have all sorts of things that will come up. Stalks on the right and left for windshield wipers as well as headlights. And then on this far side, we have a heated steering wheel button. We do get a rear sunshade. If I just press that once, it's gonna open up. Nicely dark in the back. A few more controls, interior dimming. Some leather material and stitching all across the dashboard. And then more of this material fading into the dash. Kind of has like a hexagon texture to it, pretty unique. Then taking a look at the 7-inch navigation system. We have your phone integration as you'd expect, information itself. You can swipe over and see a few more things. We have audio. We also have your menu icon, which we were just at. You can scroll left and right, see a few more things. Navigation screen as well, and then all of our settings within the car. I do like how we get your shortcuts. You can go into your menu, your map as well, and then your different audio, and a shortcut for your camera. So you can see all the different views. You can just cycle through that. And if I do go into reverse, the backup camera pops up with that top-down view, and parking sensors are going to be in the gauge cluster. We have all of your climate controls over here, dual zone temperature. Very simple, very basic the way it's laid out, but it makes it super easy. And then opening this up, there's some plugs down here, but this is a huge storage area. You could definitely fit 2 big cell phones. Really cool to see that. And then taking a look, we have 2 cup holders, heated and ventilated seats with those controls, a sport mode button, which will come up on the screen with a pretty cool graphic. And then you can also see our traction control icon, and then a shortcut for the screen. So you don't always have to use the actual touchscreen. You can just cycle through this, go into a few different items, hit our map button, go back to the menu. So I like how they've done that. You can just kind of do what you want with both of the systems. Nice armrest with some more of that leather material and stitching, and then quite a lot of storage space. And then lastly, we have a pretty big glove box. So there's a full look at the Nissan Maxima. Not a bad car. I feel like it's not quite up to date with the newest 2023 Nissans. However, it still is very functional, very useful. Of course, that's the older start button, the older screen. But overall, still a pretty nice car to be in. With that said, let's go for a spin and test out that V6. Alright, so setting off now in the new Nissan Maxima. It's been years since I have driven one of these, but so far being in it, it seems like a pretty comfortable car. Really good visibility. You have a huge windshield, you can easily see out. All the mirrors do a great job, and really no blind spots looking over your left and right shoulder. So pretty nice to drive. Steering is super light, and I really love the steering wheel. The shape of it is really unique, especially with the flat bottom design, and it's kind of narrower on the side. So it's more of an oval shape, but really comfortable being in here. The pep as well from the V6, I love the fact that they give you this engine. It's really quick. When you just give it, quarter throttle or half throttle, the car gets up to some speed. So it's no slouch at all. I mean, it'll get up to speed on the highway, no big deal. And surprisingly, the CVT is actually really nice to drive. Now, I'm not a fan of CVTs at all. I'd rather have normal gears. However, Nissan does something to where their CVTs actually drive like a normal transmission. It feels like there's gear changes. It just feels a lot better. And then as far as some slow speed things, as we go over some really bumpy train tracks, the suspension really does take the bumps nicely. It absorbs them very well. You can tell that, this is kind of Nissan's flagship sedan. You can tell that they have that attention to detail to where it's a more luxurious feeling vehicle. If I go ahead and put it in manual and sport mode, in this configuration, it gives you basically a gear that you can now shift. And it's actually responsive. When I hit the upshift, it'll change the preset gears that they've designed for the CVT. So it works really well if you need to hold a gear differently. Not sure if many people are actually gonna ever use this in the manual mode, but even in the normal drive sport mode, it sharpens it up just a little bit. It's not night and day or anything like that, but it gives you a little bit better throttle response and things like that. But as far as normal driving, it really does feel like a pretty comfortable car. The tech's pretty easy to use as well. And the seats are really nicely padded, and I just love touching the leather. It's just such a premium feeling material. and it's really not a bad car. You know, it feels like it has quite a lot to offer. A little bit older in the technology. You can tell this is still Nissan's older technology, like the screen, the start button, the gauges. You know, Nissan now has the bigger screens, a few newer aspects to it, to where you can tell this is still not the newest of Nissan. However, with that said, it still drives like a pretty solid car, and it feels like there's not really any cut corners or loose edges or anything like that. Brakes do a good job coming down to a standstill, and then when you get back up to some speed, nice and peppy. Front wheel drive, you can tell sometimes, I'm sure if you were to floor it more than I'm doing it, you're gonna feel a little bit of torque steer in it. I'm not quite sure if they offer all-wheel drive. However, I would go for all-wheel drive. I think that would just make it a little bit better. But overall, driving in the newest Maxima, definitely a pretty nice option. It's really smooth to drive.